Another episode of the Clock Enders podcast. Usual suspects, Reginald Dino, everyone hates Nick, life of the party. Guys, wow, what an amazing last 6 minutes of a game. I mean, it started off very, very shaky, and I thought, here we go. But these guys were able to pull it out in the end. An amazing game, and an amazing way to start your long weekend.
Trust me. Unbelievable. And there were some dire moments there. The Eddie header crossbar, the Odegaard miss. You know, for a second there, felt like it wasn't destined. And then Martinez gets the yellow for time wasting, and then tacks on a little more time with the injury, coupled with the injury time from when Saka went down, and it totaled 6 minutes. When I saw 6 minutes on the board, I knew. I think we all had a pretty good feeling that, you know, with the way that the game was going and the way that the field was tilted, that
from that time wasting yellow, I knew. I was like, this guy's asking for it, man. Asking for it. You got it, man. That's some. I wouldn't call it karma, but I would just call it like good. You know. What are you frightened of? You know,
seems that every time a goalie wastes time against us, it comes back to bite them. I think I forget who the goalie was. He was wasting.
We're the only ones to get away with it.
I forget what game it was. It might have been Villa.
Yeah, probably.
And they just the goalie wasted time, and he gave us enough extra time to score the game winner against him. It's right. I love to see it.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. Love to see Jorginho, man. Holy,
we'll get into him because it might be 2 games in a row where we have a man of the match performance. But there's a lot of guys on the field today that could get that man of the match a vote from us. But I mean, what a fantastic way! Like I said, what a fantastic way to start a Saturday. I know we always have our different opinions on what Mikel Arteta should do with the lineup. We saw a couple of changes. We've all been calling for Trossard to start. We saw him start today. We'll get into some of the tactics. Mikel, I keep calling him Mikel. Mikel Arteta put forth today. We'll analyze a little bit of that. Then we'll go into our player ratings. So, guys, as far as the lineup goes, were we happy with what we saw? Tomiyasu drops to the bench. I'm not sure it was because of the mistake. I just think Mikel Arteta has a little bit more confidence in what Ben White can bring to his system.
Ben White's been comfortable also. You know, he's looked really comfortable, and aside from 1 or 2 outliers, he's been great this season. So, you know, the fact that Tomiyasu came back into the team, struggled, ultimately we're rotating when we're bringing Tomiyasu in as well, right? And if he doesn't perform, you bring Ben White right back, which is what he did today. And he was, you know, there was a comfort level. You could tell that there was a comfort level around him. But you know what? When it was crucial, Tomiyasu was on for the decisive plays, and he brought something that was a little bit different to the party, and it was good too. You know what I mean? So. And he did run in behind a couple of times, stretch the defense a little bit. You know, crosses might have gotten blocked or whatever the case was, but you know, he brought energy and he did his part when he came on as well.
I think you're spot on with that, and I was hoping that you would acknowledge that. And I think that was I think I mentioned that last pod is that just that comfort level. You're exactly right. Like Ben White's been in there, you've been killing him, you've been playing him. So, you know, the 4 of them at the back are just good together, and we've seen it. Yes, they do need rest. Yes, you saw it a couple of times today, whereas Saliba and both Gabriel could have done a lot better. But, I mean, overall, they didn't play a terrible game. But, you know, Ben White just being there, man, and there's something about being consistent that is great, and there's something about making changes on the fly that could be just bad. And you know, this is one of those situations where I felt like Arteta said, let's go with what we know. And it ended up working out in the end. Not so much in the first half, a lot of just silly, minor mistakes. They didn't play that well, but they regrouped in the second.
Well, to me, I mean, it was the ultimate team win. the guys that played today, they all contributed in their own way. Xhaka was maybe one of the most poor of everybody, but outside of that, I think everybody had good performances, and if not excellent performances. So
except Eddie. Sorry, man. I gotta say it out.
Yeah,
Eddie
Eddie and Xhaka today, were definitely the outliers. But you know what? Eddie was on the pitch for the goals. So listen.
He set up Odegaard too. Odegaard should have put that away.
He did set up. Yeah. That was his one shining moment. But Odegaard, I mean, he's been trying to create. He had such a great second half too. But I mean, he's a creator, man. That's what he's supposed to do. I mean, he should have probably put that on target, but I'm almost willing to forgive that. But it was a great pass from Eddie. I'll give him that much. Perfect, right on spot.
So the theme of last game against Man City was mistakes, and it just seems like a team like Manchester City, once you give them an opportunity to capitalize on a missed pass, a missed opportunity on one end, they're coming down and putting the pressure on you to score. It just seems in the past couple of games that I've seen anyway, that every time Arsenal makes a mistake, it either ends up in a goal or a great chance. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because we're attacking with so many, and then when we get caught on the counter, it's just there's not enough guys back. I don't know what it is.
I feel like it's just Partey missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of his presence that we're missing in the middle of the park. He breaks up so many counters. Or counter opportunities. Those are the things you don't notice because they don't happen, right?
Well, you could say that. I thought we were pretty high up on the press today, though, man. Like when the first
in their side of the field, 100%, and that's what was responsible for a lot of our good spells of play was good thing.
Yeah, but sometimes you're gonna pay for that. So I mean, and that's what Watkins just took advantage of it, man. So those guys were not back. So.
First of all, we can't play against Ollie Watkins and not get scored on by Ollie Watkins. Okay, so
former Arsenal guy, right? Or the Arsenal fan, boyhood Arsenal fan.
Boyhood, absolutely. If we threw down the money right now, he would jump ship 100%.
Well, him and Martinez is going to probably try and irritate us too. Anybody that's coming back against Arsenal is going to come hard. So I wasn't. Not surprised.
We also have to
think about the last two strikers that we've seen. Okay, before this, Erling Haaland, right, and Ivan Toney, and even if we're going back to the United game, Saliba's kept a lot of guys quiet on that side. And let me tell you something, Ollie Watkins was making noise all game long. He was giving beer problems to the back line. So kudos to him. Kudos to someone who grew up like us, loving the club. You know what I'm saying? He comes to play against us. And it's always fair play too. You know what I mean? He's not the guy that's out there time wasting. He's a class act, and I have to give it up to him. Hopefully, at some point see him back in the England fold.
Then your boy Reg Coutinho, man, that was right place, right time, man. Like he just scores. You just kind of expect it from him. It'd be nice if he was in a red, but
he looked fantastic on our team. He would look fantastic on our team. It just his style of play suits the way we play perfectly. And just as I'm watching the game, I got a thought came to my head. It's just we also have to give props to the managers and the club and the board for the players that we didn't end up buying. And I'm talking about Emi Buendia. Okay. I mean, we were all, when his name popped up from Norwich, we were all in. Gotta get him. And there's a long list of players that we did not get in the transfer market where we can look back and say, "Oh my God, thank God we didn't sign that guy." 100%. And I think he's one of them. That's just a thought that came to my head.
For every Willian, there's another 10. That we can, you know what I mean? That we can look at and be like, "Oh, thank God, we dodged that."
Thank God.
Well, look, sure. I mean, a lot of people were complaining about Jorginho right now, man, and look at this signing: $12 million. The early takebacks seem pretty good to me, man.
That finish, and I know it went off Martinez's head off the bar, but just to try a ball coming across your body outside of the foot of the outside foot. That's incredible. And to have it hit a crossbar.
Me as it happened. My brother messaged me as it happened. He's like, technique.
It's
like,
crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You go outside and try that 10 times, and if you don't pull something, call me.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Crazy.
The man can strike a ball. Okay, the man can strike a ball, and he was pure energy. And on the soccer goal, he made a really nice pass to break the lines as well. The cross comes across. I mean, you know, it wasn't just the goal. You know what I mean? He's giving us a performance like he's playing for the badge. You know what I mean?
Was that him too on that weak? Wasn't that him on the weak attempt from Saka as well? Just a nice
he put it through to him. Yes, he did.
Oh, this guy with precise passing, man.
This
guy, what a steal, you know.
So I think as it stands right now, guys, I think when Partey's healthy again, I think it's Jorginho and Partey in the midfield.
We've been talking about this. I think that's the first thing we said when I saw him. I'm like, you know what? I want to see more of that combo.
I think that's it. And you can push Jorginho a little bit higher up the park. It's going to be him and Odegaard might be problems for
more effective. You think he's breaking lines now? Oh my gosh, with the freedom of Partey behind him. Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
And like that's the thing with Xhaka. Like Xhaka will make interceptions, but not actually like tackles. Like tackles one, you know what I mean, and duels one. That's not exactly Xhaka's thing. But Jorginho does that too. You know what I mean, and does that like on the same level. Just remember, I remember when we first signed him and they were showing stats and it was like, 5.4 tackles or duels one or whatever it was, tackles one. I think it was like during play. It's like, what? Like I had no idea that he was as active and as like steely as he is too, you know?
But
I guess for an Italian number 6, you know, it makes sense. But he's still got that Brazilian in him too.
That's right. I was gonna say he's got the Brazilian blood. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why. So let's get into the ratings because I know it might take a little bit. It might take a little bit longer tonight because there's a lot of good performances tonight or this morning. And this guy that we're gonna start with because we always start in the net. I mean, he could be man of the match. That is a game. We said it the last game. There has to be some point where your goalie has to make a save to keep you in the game
in the right moments.
And he did that. He did that today. So we'll start with Ramsdale, and we'll start with Nick.
Outside of a couple of I guess what do you call it? Just not in the right position. Particularly on the second goal. Overall, his first half was average, but his second half, just his attention to detail and just being able to bail out guys in the right moments, man. It's like you were prepared. I for once felt comfortable. Even when I saw a couple guys get beat down the line, this dude was just making big reaction stops too. Not even stuff that he's too well prepared for it, anticipating the shot, anticipating where it's going, anticipating the play, man. Just really smart, man. Even on the set pieces, just some of his bumps, like just punches. Like the dude was great. Easily an 8 for me, man. Easily an 8 for me.
He had another nice save earlier in the game as well. It wasn't just that one where he came across. He made it look easy, I guess. On the Coutinho goal, I don't know exactly where he was going on the Coutinho goal. I have no idea how he guessed the Coutinho goes right. It wasn't deflected. It wasn't.
I think Coutinho gave him the eyes like he was going to curl it,
right?
And then he came back near post.
Coutinho has been world class, so you know you can maybe forgive that and. His performance outside of that was really good. You know, he couldn't do anything on the first goal. It was just a rocket. And outside of that, you know, he saved our season with one save. So, I mean, I think because of what you said, like forget about the 2 goals. You know, that's a 9 performance for me. You know, that the just the nature of what we were talking about last week. Eventually, at some point, he's got to make that save. He makes that save, and it's crucial, and it's shocking. You know what I mean? Like, it's shocking that he makes that save. So and kudos to Bailey on that piece of skill on the sideline right there.
That's a great take, man.
Wow, man! Nobody in the stadium thought that thing was coming down controlled on his foot like that, especially not Zinchenko.
Totally had. Oh yeah,
he proceeds to get
that a couple times. Just his take on that and the turn, it was nuts. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
scary stuff, you know.
Yeah, and he unleashes a laser, and Ramsdale, you know, like I said, saves our season before Jorginho saves our season. So
for sure. So I gave him an 8 as well, just based off the save. I mean, the goals I don't think he had like you said, I don't think he had a chance on the first one. And the second one, I think Coutinho kind of fooled him a little bit on it. But again, I think that goal goes in against most goalies, so I'm not gonna knock him for that. But the like you both have mentioned, the season saving save that he made, that's what we're looking for, and that's why when we get to Eddie, that's why I say, like, it's when you get an opportunity, you have to bury. But we'll get to him when we get to the forward. So I gave him an 8. We'll move to a man who scored his first Premier League goal. I was shocked. This is his first Premier League goal. In Zinchenko?
You want me to give my rating on Zinchenko? That's an 8 performance for me out of Zinchenko. The goal was crucial. Obviously, we're not in the position that we're in without that goal. He did something that I hadn't seen him do in similar situations earlier on in the season, which is he essentially passed Martinez. You know what I mean? Took a little something off of it and tucked it right away.
Yeah.
Super duper tidy and obviously hella important. So that's a high 8, we'll call it. You know what I mean? Almost a 9 performance. Like I said, fell asleep in a couple of instances here or there, but like overall, you know, really influential performance.
Well, the goals came on the right side of the field, right? Yeah, right side of the field. Or no, sorry, what am I saying? Goals came from the left, right? Mostly, and
their goals.
Yeah, their goals came from the left side of the field. No.
Yeah, one of them did. Yeah. It started on the left, Ben White's side.
I mean, there was a couple of Ramsdale, you know, saves because Zinchenko was nowhere to be seen because he was playing a bit up in the midfield, which I think was necessary. You're right. They know who the competition is, and he thought he could take some more chances. I still would give him a 7, even though he was very influential. You know. On the other side of the pitch, when it came to the back there, sometimes like where's he at? I mean, it's a good thing. You have a safety blanket and Gabriel back there, but you know, the only reason I probably rated him so high is because of what he did on the offensive side. But defensively, I think I was calling it during the game. I was like, maybe it's time to bring Tierney in late to sort of lock this down and stop worrying. But hey, a good game overall.
What rating are you giving him?
7.
7? Okay.
Our left back scores a goal and he gets a 7. Game tying goal.
I'm just saying left back.
Hey, that's a rating.
Still a left back. All right.
I gave him an 8 as well. I think from the last couple of games he's been poor, and I don't know what happened in the second half, what was said in halftime, but he came out like the player that started off the season with Arsenal, then getting the goal and being that guy that's getting everybody up. You can see him on the TV giving an FU to somebody. It was probably somebody on their team, I hope. Probably so after he scored. So, and I mean, everything after that was fantastic. So I know he gave away the ball for the second goal. I believe it was the second goal he gave away the ball or something. I think it was him. But yeah, I'm giving him an 8 just based off. I think this is the game that kind of will kick off our season, the second half of our season, and bring back that confidence. So we'll go to the.
Hold on, yeah, he gave away the ball on that, but wasn't he also responsible for what's his name off of that touch where Ramsdale had to make the big save? That was him. Like he got turned around and couldn't catch up.
Oh well, yeah, he thought the ball was going out of bounds. I think because it should have. That take was crazy, but so we'll go to the right side. We'll go with Ben White. Bounce back performance for me. I think he was one of the lowest rated guys a couple of games ago, or maybe last game, or no, a couple of games ago. He's one of the lowest rated guys on the pitch for Arsenal. Bounce back game. Another sloppy giveaway. Tried to backheel it to Saka, and it turned in. It ended up being a shot on net for Aston Villa eventually. So we got to cut some of that stuff out. But the overlapping, the defending, the way he was able to clip balls over the top for opportunities. I think he was the guy that clipped it over for Eddie when he hit the crossbar. I think it was him. But for me, bounce back game. I just want to see players that play poorly play better. And that's what he did today. So I gave him an 8. Nick.
For me, I'm also going to go with a 7. Sorry, you went 8. I'm going to go with 7. But incredible bounce back game. And, I thought the substitution at that time was perfect. That was just enough Ben White. Again, just, you're right. And that's why those couple of giveaways were just a little irritating for me, but, and that's why I'm going to go with a 7. But overall, I mean, he responded really well, because some guys would sulk and be like, what happened? Shouldn't I be in that big game against City? I mean, to come back and show this type of performance, he's probably earned himself another few starts because of that. So 7 for me.
Okay.
I'll give him a 7. Obviously, our center backs had their hands full with Watkins. So I'm sure he took a bit of the load there as well. But ultimately, he was playing against, most of the time, probably like a McGinn, you know what I mean? Someone like that. Not quality, you know what I'm saying? So because of the size of his task and there was a bit of sloppiness here or there, I won't go all the way with an 8. I'll say a 7, but definitely a great bounce. The performance we needed. You know what I mean?
It was more Emi than McGinn. McGinn was more on the other side. I thought it was Emi that was giving him, like, he didn't have much class on that. You're right, but it was I think his name is Emi or something like that. Let me look it up. Shit.
But I think it's the reason why some of these guys have these bounce back games, which is why I'm actually waiting to see what Kieran Tierney can do when he hopefully gets back in the lineup. Is now there's competition at different positions. So you would think Ben White is an automatic right on the lineup sheet before every game. You can write his name in pen because automatic. And then the biggest game of the season comes up and doesn't start.
Right.
So I think guys can start taking that. Look at Martinelli, same thing. Doesn't start, comes on. He was electric when he was playing. So guys come on. They realize this guy behind me, I got to play to his level and better in order to keep my position here. So it's going to bode well for Arsenal. And I think
we keep talking about the timing too of these substitutions. They were pretty good today. Like, I'll give Arteta some real credit for that. But yeah, you're right. Bring up Martinelli. Perfect time to bring him on, man. I mean, great.
So we'll move to the center partnership of Saliba and Gabriel. We'll start with Saliba, and we'll start with Nick.
It seems like he's that guy that has the responsibility of facing the toughest striker every single week in and week out, man. And once again today, like, you got to give him credit. Like you're putting him in these really tough positions, and I mean, he's showing up. He was physical. There are a couple times where you probably thought he could have done a bit better, particularly maybe if you want to say the Coutinho goal. But outside of that, I thought he was really good. And really good for me translates to a 7.
Okay. Edson?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the Coutinho goal. It was the Ollie Watkins goal. Where he turned and fired with the left.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the man marking him, but ultimately he was on an island out there also, right? So
that's the one, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I give him a 7 because it wasn't quite an 8. You know what I mean? That's basically it. But and he was a little bit loose with a couple of pass attempts that I thought could have freed up Saka and our forward line. But overall, a sound defensive performance, we'll say, outside of the kind of the one outlier.
And I think he was looking down the field for that. I think he was really focused on what was happening in the back because there was that stress factor there, man. And Watkins is very underrated, like the kid is nuts, So, I mean, 2 physical and fast forwards in the last 3 weeks. I think he's done okay.
So I gave Saliba an 8. I think I guess I'm the guy that's being generous with the ratings this week. He had that action with Ollie Watkins in the beginning and got beat, but I don't think Ollie Watkins beat him again for the rest of the game.
Nope.
So it's kind of like what we said when Arsenal was playing Brentford. If Tony had played the first game, I don't think he scores that offside goal or gets any joy out of playing Saliba because he's seen it and he has the ability to correct any positional errors. And I think once Ollie Watkins scored that goal, I don't remember Ollie Watkins getting another chance.
Zero.
So I gave him an 8 just because he's a quick learner and he shut down a young talented forward today. That gives most defenders problems. So I gave him an 8. We'll move to his partner, Gabriel, and we'll start with Edson.
Yeah, no, he gets my 8. To me, he was a step better than Saliba with his passing going forward. Nothing errant. You know what I mean? When play starts on his side, you feel safe with it starting. It just seems like he was a little bit maybe not to say more assured. He also had the huge tackle in the box where it was switched. I forget what where I think it was either Watkins or Bailey. Switched from
great challenge. Yeah.
Bailey. Switched from his left foot back to his right foot.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, the guy is sticking that leg out and that leg is getting fallen over, and that's a penalty. Okay? 9 times out of 10. All right. And he not only did he not pick up a penalty, he cleared the ball, looked pretty skillfully and pretty tidily. So on that again, season saving stuff right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Season saving stuff. So yeah, he gets an 8 from me.
Okay, Nick.
Well, no, actually, he brought up the one play that I'll remember from this game, and that was that tackle. I think it happened late too. It was like in the 80th, got to be like the 80th, 75th or 80th minute. I should probably look it up, but yeah, you make tackles like that. You're that brave in that moment when you know that they're so quick with the whistle. I mean, that says to me, hey, like I trust you at the back. Like you make me trust you more. I thought super impressive today. It felt like his side, even though he was everywhere, was locked down. Like up front, I mean, trying to get up front and make things happen there. He did win a couple of headers that probably could have went on target, but just the fact that he's up there making those plays is also impressive to me. That's why I will go 8. Highest probably scored for me today. Well, actually, that's not true. I got another one.
So I gave him an 8 as well. Didn't put a foot wrong for me today. Didn't get caught out too much. Was able to play the ball out. Another fantastic tackle. If that's Mertesacker or Mustafi back there, it's a penalty shot for sure. But I mean, normal performance for me. So I gave him an 8. Then we're gonna move to the midfield, and we're gonna start with last game's man of the match, Jorginho, and we'll start with Nick.
Oh man, this guy. Like, I'm gonna just say it up front. Like, I want to say 10, but I'm gonna say 9 because I don't want to be ridiculous. 10 sounds like a fanboy. 9 sounds a little bit more realistic. I thought he was super influential. I think that he's made a case for getting in ahead of his partner today. I think that I trust him back there now. I trust him in the middle. I trust him to try to get these guys going up either side. I thought he was really good with on the right side with Saka. I thought him and Odegaard meshed. Odegaard, man.
Who?
Sorry, Odegaard. But my bad. Diggs.
I thought the mic was going again.
Odegaard. I'm sorry, Odegaard. I thought he meshed with him well. And I mean, he was just influential, man. Just influential throughout the game. I'm gonna go as high as 9. Obviously, that strike was a wonder touch. You know that you explained earlier. Probably you're just brave taking it. You know, like and to put it on target was crazy. It's a shame they have something called own goals, because that was one of those ones where I was like, no, that was gonna go in. Some way, somehow, it's gonna go in. So 9 for me.
I don't know if they're calling that an own goal.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
They did.
They hit the bar. The bar is not the net, so it wasn't a shot on net. And then Martinez put it in, so they're calling it an own goal.
Yeah,
they don't count the post or the bar as.
They call it on target, right? They don't call that on target.
If that happens on a PK, they're calling that PK a goal.
But yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but
I know, but
they are. Come on, bro. What are we talking about on a PK?
Well,
that's a goal.
Yeah, I know, but the way that the rules are is that that's not on net.
It hits out the goalie and it goes in on a penalty shot. They're calling that a goal. They're not calling that an own goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess, but in the run of play, I guess when
have you ever seen it happen? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not wrong, am I?
A penalty shot hit the goalie and go in?
Yes, it happens. It happens fairly often.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you would be. I'm not saying you're wrong, but they count it as an own goal. So
yeah,
so that means Martinez's own goal.
So that's why, yeah, that's a solid 9 for me. For like somebody's taken somebody's spot just now, and I think we know who it is. So yeah,
Edson, what do you got?
I mean, I don't know what the stats are gonna say, okay, but that's it's got to be a 10 performance, right? Like, just I say that because Xhaka. It's not like Xhaka was out there shining with him. You know what I mean? And to be honest, today Zinchenko, yeah, he played some midfield, but he also played a little bit of left back. Jorginho looked like was out there, not just by himself, but like setting the tone as well. You know what I mean? Setting the tone for our play, the speed of it. Again, you want to talk about not a step wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, look for him more. I was like, why aren't we looking for him more? You know what I mean? He was making himself really available in the midfield. He was breaking lines with his passes. It wasn't just the goal. You know what I mean? I think it was 3 of the goals he had a hand in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And chances, ton of chances, man.
And was there and sound defensively and busy and diligent. You know, as much as he could be in trying to also, you know, get play going the other way and keep things ticking. He did more than keep things ticking. That's a 10 for me. You know what I mean? Like, what more can you want from your midfielder? I mean, you may not call that a goal, but like, you know, having an assist or a hockey assist on 2 other goals plus that.
Yeah, 10. Yeah. I gave him a 9 as well. I mean, that's by far the highest mark I'm going to give anybody today. But keeping the ball moving, picking out passes, being available for passes, the shot, the goal, The assists, like you said, it's just for a guy that's come in 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
Right.
to be able to contribute like that to the point where we're looking at, you know what, one of the guys on our team who has been one of our best players. You know, I'd rather, at this point, I'd rather see Partey and Jorginho play, and Xhaka can come off the bench.
Yeah, I'm going to change my rating. I'm going to change my rating. I'm going to give him a 12. I'm going to give him a 12 for the 12 million pesos, less than João Felix's loan fee. Less than João Felix's loan fee with no option to buy. Okay. Less than João Felix's loan fee is what we got this guy for.
Well, we know João Felix is going back to Atletico, so we know
that's what I'm saying. With no option to buy these guys.
Yeah.
And you know the crazy thing is, when we signed him, the first thing I heard is, because I mean there was a bunch of backlash, and then I heard someone said, this is a rental for Arsenal. You know what I mean? They're gonna send him to Italy in the summer or something like that. No, we gotta keep this. We gotta keep this right here.
He signed for 2 years, I believe. So yeah, I'm not sure what
he stay.
And I think that's the one thing Arsenal was missing. I mean, the senior guy on the team was Granit Xhaka. Like, you need somebody with experience, with silver, with trophies. Yeah, you need a guy with trophies. You know, like you need that type of guy, right? So, I mean, it's seeming like the signing.
The thing about it is that Gabriel was that other guy. You know, he and Zinchenko were the mentality, and we brought in another mentality monster, as they call them. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is that. Say what you will. You know what I mean? And you know, any person who calls himself a fan who isn't on side, who isn't all in on Jorginho now, he ain't
haven't been watching.
He's playing for this now. He's playing for Birdie.
That's it. So he's well, I can safely say he's probably going to be two game running man of the match, but that's the highest ratings we've given. I'm not going to put 12. I'm going to leave it at 10 for Edson. His partner today, Xhaka. I'll start it off. Again, tried. Again, I feel like I said last game, I feel he's fatigued. And I mean, that's the best you're going to get from someone who's fatigued in a league like this.
Yeah.
When you're playing against a team who doesn't have a lot of players that were playing in the World Cup and had that month off to chill and relax and you know, do all that. And you know, like, I don't think anyone who went to the World Cup from Aston Villa, I mean, Martinez, that's it. So the whole team had time to rest, and you know, they're not in any cups or anything like that. So they have that. They're not in Europa League, so they're only playing once a week, pretty much.
And they have a coach who watches us, I'm sure, relentlessly. Like, I mean, he's got to watch every Arsenal match and has, you know, if anything, has a book on a good amount of our players. You know what I'm saying?
He's the guy that gave Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe. He was the one that gave them the opportunity, their debuts, right? So he knows exactly what you're going to get from those guys. So he knows how to defend them. He knows their weaknesses, their strengths. I mean, I don't know how much Saka. I shouldn't say that, but how much Saka has changed. I know he's changed. He's grown as a player. I know that under Arteta, but his basic fundamentals hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, how you would approach defending him hasn't changed.
Right, exactly. Him and Smith Rowe and Martinelli to that extent too. So keep them on the outside. Don't let them cut in. That's pretty much the book on them. And Unai Emery should have written the book. So, but anyways, getting back to Xhaka, I believe I gave him a 6. I mean, didn't really do much wrong, but didn't really do much, you know, to further the benefit. A couple of fouls he picked up, getting the fouls, but that's not the performance that I've known Xhaka to give this season. So I gave him a 6. Edson.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think we could see more of from him is energy. You know, like, all right, you know, maybe not at your best, but you're making energetic bursts to make things feel a little bit safer. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, he always seems like he's behind the guy that he's marking. You know what I'm saying? Like chasing, out of position a little bit. And obviously he's dealing with another partner, now a fresh partner. So they got to kind of find their way. So, I mean, I'm being kind. I'm being kind. I mean, if Reg gave him a 6, I guess I got to give him a 5. So that's where we are. Reg is going to be a little bit kind. And
my guy.
Right. And also, when Vieira came on is when things really started to move too. Yeah. So I think that the ugly duckling in the midfield and the ugly duckling out there today, well, there was one more. There was one more, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But I think he did more than Xhaka, and he's probably going to get a standard 6. So I got to give Xhaka a 5.
Okay. There was actually a part in the game where I think it was James McGinn that was coming up the middle, and Xhaka just stood there like a James Harden defense and just let him go by him. And this is at the top of the 18-yard box.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like when the ball gets turned over and he's not busting hump to get back in position. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. If I were getting energy, you know what I mean, which is what Jorginho is giving off. If I were getting that, then I would be okay with the performance. I mean, when has Xhaka gotten subbed in his career? You know what I mean? Like,
this is what I'm telling you.
He always finished his games. So
fatigue now, I think it's fatigue. I keep saying it. I know people are tired of hearing it, but I think he's tired.
Yeah. So I'll give him a tired 5.
Tired 5. All right. Nick, what do you give Mr. Granite?
You took all my points there, and I guess I was only going to follow up, but I think Edson just sort of mentioned it. Is that has there ever been a time when Xhaka has been fit to play and doesn't play? I mean, you can look at the last 4 managers of this team, and he's always in there. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's good or if he's bad, if his form is great or if his form is bad. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. You gotta like I wanna be with you, Reg, and say, you know what, like the dude, he's tired and whatnot. But I think that his performance for me is not a lot on him. It's more on the managers. And because of that, I'm gonna say 5, and a 5, maybe even a 4, just because, again, you could tell. I think it's time for him to sit, for him to look, for him to get angry, and then maybe he can come out there and show me the form that he had, a couple of months ago.
Well, the problem is he can't sit now.
Can't sit. There's no one to take his spot.
Why not? Why can't?
You're saying Vieira into the fire, 2 losses on the trot. No.
I'm sorry. Like, who do they have next, man? Like, I think there's an opportunity there. I mean, the next fixtures for Arsenal are the following.
I think it's Leicester.
Like, we're talking about Leicester City. Okay, there you go. You called it. That's you've got. Oh shoot, there goes my scheduling. One sec. It is
Leicester, Everton, I think Southampton,
Fulham.
I think the only way that you can afford to sit Xhaka is with 3 at the back. No, is with Partey coming back, obviously. Yeah, that's what we want.
And then listen, I'm not telling you to give.
If you go
90 minutes, but maybe Xhaka fresh coming off the bench might be. A little lesson to be learned for him. Like, maybe it's okay. Like, maybe it's some rest that he needs to get. Maybe it's a few games off. This is a pretty good stretch they have coming up where I think you can afford to take a chance and then give this kid a run who's probably going to be the future anyways. There's some time there. I'm not saying these games are an easy game. I mean, it's at Leicester. It's a revenge game, but at least it's at home versus Everton. Then it's Bournemouth at home, then at Fulham. Like, there's opportunities there, man. Let him rest.
Listen, and that's going to be tough, bro.
Like, it doesn't matter what his form is, but they keep throwing him out there. Like, let's stop for a second and think about this.
But the Leicester and the Fulham game are going to be tough.
Yeah.
Home, away, it doesn't matter.
But I mean, again, I would sooner take chances. Like, I think he needs rest now, is what I'm saying. So I'm willing to go, seeing the form that Jorginho's in, I'm willing to take that chance at least for 60 minutes with this kid. You know?
If we were up in the league 15, 20 points, then yeah, I would say get a player. You know, where we are right now, we can't afford to drop points, any more points, because unless something crazy happens today, this afternoon. Well, I have City. It's still 0-0 at Nottingham Forest. It's almost halftime. So unless something crazy happens there, I don't see us being able to drop any points, and I don't think you can start Vieira in a league in a league game.
Well, Forest
should be left for your Europa League game or whatever.
Good run at home, so I'm hoping that Forest has actually been on a pretty good run of late. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they can keep this up. I mean, it is what it is. But no, I don't see why not. Again, we're just going to sit here frustrated with him. And, today was the first time. I'm shocked that he actually made the substitution. I was stunned. I was like, wow, finally. Somebody
spending way too much time on Granit Xhaka today.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
So we'll go to a player that we saw or that we were calling for to start, maybe through the middle and have Martinelli and Saka on either side of him. But Arteta decided to put him on the wing, and that's Leandro Trossard. And we'll start with Edson.
Trossard, crap first half, better in the second half. Best thing he did all day was go off when Martinelli came on. So we'll give him a 6.
Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between Brighton Trossard and what we're seeing now? I'm not saying that he's playing bad. I'm not saying that. No, but I see a different player.
An overlapping left back, him playing or feeling more comfortable to go a little bit more central as well. He says his favorite position is in behind the striker. I think that Odegaard is a guy that could probably use some rest as well. And, going back to the Xhaka thing just really quickly, we forget that he's played World Cup. You know what I mean? And he's played every minute of that too. He's not on, 21-year-old.
I don't forget.
I don't know. He's not on 21-year-old legs like Saka. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think Saka needs a rest. These 20-year-old Martinelli, those guys play.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not. He's 30. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the season and the schedule are definitely catching up to him. You know what I mean? So
100%.
Anyway, yeah. So taking that into account, I'm not changing my rating, but I understand. You know what I mean? And selecting him is the right thing. And until Partey comes back, it's going to continue to be the right thing. We're just going to hope that he takes a little uptick, gets a little bit more comfortable beside Jorginho, and adapts quickly.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? Edson gave Trossard a 6.
I think that when you're making, I think this is his first Premier League start with Arsenal, right? Is it
Premier League? Yes.
Yeah, Premier League start with that. I thought he was okay. Like I've been saying for a while, Martinelli's still been good, man. It's he's had a run of bad luck. Obviously, his dip in play, I think, has always been because that his boy, his compatriot, has been out of the fold with an injury. But I mean, he's still the guy I think that should probably be starting. I mean, yes, sure, I agreed. Maybe there was an opportunity today, but Trossard, I still would advocate for him to start. But I think it should be both him and Martinelli starting. I thought he was pretty good today. Maybe the nerves of it got to him. Again, it's a tough road game at Villa, and I thought he was okay. 6 for me.
Okay, so it's going to be a 6 all the way around. For me, again, like Edson said, I think we got to try to get this guy into the center of the midfield. Maybe Odegaard grew into the game, so I don't think that we could have taken him out. But He could definitely have played maybe a false 9 instead of having Nketiah up there. I think Nketiah should have come off, but I think he should come off every game. So we'll go to the captain. We'll start with I'll start this one. So I gave him a 7. A little bit more on the ball this game. Less times he disappeared in the game. I could always see him in and around the ball trying to start things. He would make the tackle and make the right pass. So I gave him a 7 as my rating. Nick, what do you give Odegaard?
Okay, so Odegaard for me gets a 7. I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think he needs some help from his defensive midfielders a bit more. I mean, overall, I mean, he's just always looking to create. His first half wasn't as like I guess the middle point of the game. You really started to see him going, and then the second half, up until that shot, I mean, he was all over the place. That's why I'll go with a 7 for him. I think if Arteta is willing to make a change to help him out, I mean, I have some ideas there. I think that there's a guy named Zinchenko at the back that would be great if you pushed him up and maybe brought Tierney back in the game. But I mean, that's just a thought, and I think him, like a guy like Zinchenko and him, managing that midfield, I think you'd see some things go on there that you haven't seen in a while. But that's just my opinion. So, yeah, 7 for me. He's pretty good.
Edson?
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, 7 feels almost a little too generous because of that miss. We'd be ruining that miss had we lost this game. It was an egregious miss. It's the kind of miss that you guys go in super hard on Eddie for.
Striker. He's a striker. That's why.
Yeah, and I'm willing to. I almost forgot about that.
Your best strikers of the ball. He had a wide open shot. You trust him to put that thing on net. You trust him to put it away. Okay, yep. He's done it before. Often enough this season, and in his time with us. So you trust that he puts it away. Here's what I'll say to that. He usually does. So I'll give him a 7 because he kept things ticking otherwise, and he was energetic, and he was in the mix. And as the game went on, he found ways to start to really unlock things. His play, and he was all over the pitch. He was playing with Saka on the right side. He's the one that's providing the overlaps. He was really out there, covering some ground. Like, he put some clicks in there today. Again, not every sequence or every imagined sequence, attempted pass, attempt to unlock necessarily went off, but it was a he persevered. You know what I mean? He persevered, and he was in the middle of most things because that's how we play. So.
Okay, so he gets a 7 across the board from all of us. We'll go to the middle of the field. Up top, our striker, Eddie Nketiah. We'll start with Edson.
Yeah, that's a 6 from Eddie.
Perfect person to start with, actually.
It's a 6 from Eddie. Again, no long talk. We've said most of the stuff already. You know what I mean? Missed chance, made the chance for Odegaard. He definitely, got better as the game went on, like in terms of, getting into scoring positions, taking chances. There was a chance earlier as well. I think it was Jorginho who sent him a pass through the middle again. And it was another weird one where you're like, it was a bad decision. And he even had Saka on the left-hand side. He could have dropped it off to, a 6 performance. Not to go too deep on it. This more reflects on the manager, and again, us not having a Balogun to be able to turn to. Okay, it more reflects on the manager. We should have a senior level striker, somebody else to turn to right now. He was just a recall away. That's disappointing. But outside of that, the manager's rating will be pretty high. Foreshadowing. So I don't think
Arteta and Arsenal thought that the Gabriel Jesus injury was going to be as long as it is. So I think that's probably why they didn't call him back. But
it was a gamble. They gambled.
They gamble, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You gamble on a $7 million Martinelli.
We're in a dogfight now because of a gamble. You're telling me that Paolo Gunn wouldn't have scored against Everton? You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm just trying to offer suggestions. That's it, man. That's it. Nick, what do you give Eddie?
Eddie was again, no long talk here. No long talk. I mean, Eddie, it's the same old story, man. Like, I think even on the offside, I would have been happy if he at least just put it on the goal to see what it feels like, But I mean, he's pressing now, and that's leading to bad decisions, because he wants so bad to score again that he's not letting the game free flow and come to him. And a little bit better today, but no better than a 4. I think he could have put away at least 2 chances. Or sorry, at least one of those chances I think he could have put away. But yeah, it's 4.
Okay, I gave him a 5 today, which is higher than what I gave him the last game, because half of the time for a striker, don't get me wrong, I still think his play is whatever. But half of being a striker is being in the right spot at the right time and getting the opportunities. He's getting the opportunities, he's just not finishing. So I'll give him a 5 because he's getting in the right spots. But now he needs to score. You can turn that 5 into an 8 with goals, but I can't give him anything higher than a 5. So we move to the goal scorer, a peach of a goal, Saka, and we'll start with. I'll start. I gave him an 8. Much more lively, taking on opportunities. I thought when he went down in the second half that he was giving the substitution sign just before the camera cut away from him, and that would have been disastrous. But he managed to play the rest of the game. I think there was something said at halftime because it just looked like the Arsenal from the beginning, and even with Saka's performance as well. So I'm giving him an 8.
A 9.
I don't know if I would say
I'm giving him a 9. And I'll tell you why. First of all, the goal, what a well-taken volley.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And things felt bleak. You know what I mean? Each time we went down the first time, things felt bleak. Yeah. And they answered the call. Not just that. When how many times was he fouled today? Okay? And these are like just getting kicked and kicked. I don't even think they got a single yellow card for it. You know what I mean? Just over and over and over again. And you could see he was hurting. He took time. He was down, but he persevered. And again, that's a key word in here. So he persevered through that stuff. And then on top of it, there was the moment with Coutinho when Coutinho goes through him, right? And he gets up, shoves Coutinho, right? What's his name?
Diaz. Wasn't that on his boy though? I didn't think that was on.
Diaz was the first guy over. Shoves Diaz, right? Yeah. I read in the middle of the week, Thierry Henry said, he's too much of a nice guy. He needs to get ruthless now. That's the next level for him. You know what? He was next level today. Okay, that's a 9 for me. That's not an 8. That's a 9 performance for me. He responded in that way. He gave us that. He was fiery. He's what you expect from Xhaka in a game like this, right? That's what was missing from Xhaka's performance, and it was Saka who was bringing it. So again, young legend developing in front of our eyes. He looked like he wanted. He led out there today. That's a 9 performance for me.
Okay.
I don't normally agree with Edson completely. And this is the one time that I'm absolutely with you. You pretty much stole my thunder there, man. It's the it's not just the wonder goal from the star boy, but it's the energy and the influence that and the how can I what's the word I'm looking for, man? It's I'm losing it right now. It's just the way that he galvanized his guys, by jumping in, like saying, no, you're not going to push me around, and then also push around everybody else. And it's his fight that I thought really had them going. Now in the second half, the only thing I would say is that the yellow card certainly calmed him down a bit. And obviously he was not going to risk getting anything more with that. But I mean, again, he was so influential even in the second half that I can forgive any sort of lapse in play. But that first half, I think, is because of someone like Saka that they remained in the game. So, and it was we only went down 2-1. So, great performance from him. 9.
Okay. So now we're going to move to the bench.
Tell us you want to change your number for Saka now. After that, you do. You want to change your number?
No, I gave him a 9, and I gave him an 8, and that's it.
See, exactly.
No, I gave him an 8, and that's it. I don't change. I gave him an 8. Done. We'll move to the bench now. Tierney and Holding we won't bother with. Vieira and Martinelli and Tomiyasu. So we'll start with really quick. We'll go through the substitutions, get to the manager, and then we'll start our Saturday. Vieira, and we'll start with Edson.
I got to say, in terms of a performance off the bench, that's an 8 performance. He was lively. He put a ball over the top, I think, for the second goal. He made the second. I should say he made the fourth goal. And I think he put a ball over the top that made a chance as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Martinelli, yeah, that's right.
Right. So he was excellent. And I think Martinelli loves having him as his little running mate. They're buddies. And you could tell that there was a little bit of chemistry there on that counter, certainly. And just the shithousery at the end there, you know what I mean? Like pointing at the goal before he scored it. You know what I mean? That's a swaggy moment. That's
that's Martinelli. Yeah, that's Martinelli, right? Yeah.
He went to his knees and was like pointing at the goal as well. If you look back at it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So there was a swaggy moment there. Something that can be on the highlight reel. At the end of the season when we capture this Premier League. So performance from him. And you know what? He even said it. He's like, guys, I need a couple of games, in a row before I can start contributing. Well, this is his third game in a row in the same role, and guess what? Beautiful assist to shut it down and send it home. So,
Nick,
I'm telling you, he's in my starting 11, man. Him and Martinelli together, you gotta let them run, man. And this might be an opportunity. And there's your mandated rest for Xhaka at this point. And maybe not Leicester. Maybe you're right. That's a tough road game. But hey, why not, man? The kid, he's starting to go. He's still young. I think he deserves a chance. And that's why I'm going to go the same as Edson. Coming off the bench and doing that, while your team, I think he came off the bench and it was it 2-2? Was it 2-2?
When he came on, it was 2-2, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2-2. I mean, come on there and know that you need to make a difference. And he did. 8 all day.
Well, I'm giving him a 7. I'm not changing my rating. Didn't put a foot wrong. For me, kind of, it wasn't on long enough for me to say he disappeared a couple of times, but there was some times where he could have got on the ball and chose not to. So I gave him a 7. Still great performance from him coming off the bench. He signed a 5-year deal. We're going to see a lot of the kid. I mean, it's not a time to rush him into a position right now. But yeah, I gave him a 7. So we'll move to Tomiyasu. I'll start it. I gave him a 7 as well. Again, really didn't do much.
Vieira got a 7 and he got a 7. All right.
All my subs get 7s. Well, why? I can't say 7?
All right, go ahead. 7.
7.
Yeah.
You don't think Tomiyasu deserves a 7, or he got lower than 7?
Tomiyasu definitely deserves a 7.
Okay, but Vieira deserves an 8. Well, I just gave him a 7. Didn't really do much wrong. Again, not a lot of time. Didn't get a lot of time out there. Just didn't do anything wrong. No mistakes. Was able to get up the field and support Saka as well. Gets a 7 from me. Nick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I thought, anybody that can come in the game and just, keep things the way that they are. I'm sorry. When did he come in for that shot? That Ramsdale save that went off the top crossbar.
I don't think he was on then. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
not on yet. But after that, I thought he sort of did what he's been doing, which is just locking down that side. I'll say 6, 7, 7. Yeah, I agree with you. I would agree with you, Red. 7.
Okay, so Edson gave him a 7 as well, I believe. That's correct, Edson?
Correct, 7.
Okay, and
I felt like the level of play at right back, like his energy came in and it elevated things. You know what I mean? Like he brought the level up. And it was slight, but for me, he brought the level up. So
okay,
he came in at 79. He came in the 79th minute. Yeah, okay, I see it.
So the last two guys that we're going to give ratings to are Martinelli and the manager. So we'll start with Martinelli. Go ahead, Edson.
Martinelli, now that's a solid. In his minutes, again, what more do you want from a sub? Come on, score, bring energy, be dangerous, stretch the field. He did all of that. So for a substitute's performance, that's a 9. Yeah, again,
Okay.
for in the time that he was allotted, right? In the time that he was allotted, he came on, scored, and then he did the old point to the name on the back as well. You know what I mean? As he's backtracking and celebrating, going towards the crowd. So just to let everybody know that, oh, by the way, I'm still here. You know what I mean? And I'm not easily displaced. And he was exactly that. He looked like he's going to be hard to take out of that starting 11. That's for sure. So,
well, he came in the 68th minute, and I thought they looked way more dangerous. Whereas I think it was a bit of slack off coming with Trossard on that side. Maybe he was a little tired. Maybe, who knows? But I thought they looked considerably more dangerous with Martinelli out there. And I will say, if I gave Thing an 8, who did I give an 8 to just now? Why is it slipping my head?
Vieira.
If I'm going to give him an 8, I'm going to give Martinelli an 8 as well.
Wow. I gave him an 8 too. Just played was better, was way better than what we've seen. So I gave him an 8 as well. The goal, just to be able to bust a lung to get up there. Well done to Saliba, who was probably, if Martinelli didn't get there, Saliba was going to get there. He cleared the ball, he cleared the header, and was probably ahead of 8 of the Aston Villa players to get out to try to support that. So well done to Saliba for that. I wanted to bring that up when we were giving him his rating. But I'll give him an 8 as well. Much, much, much better. And finally, we'll end off with the manager, Mr. Arteta. Did he get the tactics and the lineup right? We'll start with Nick.
Arteta, going to say it was, yes, they won 4-2. I thought his substitutions were great. I thought the lineup could have used a bit more tweaking. I'm glad he did bring Ben White back, though. And, Trossard, he deserved the start. Obviously, I know that probably took a lot for Arteta to change because we see how stubborn he can be sometimes. So, with that being said, I'm going to say 7 for Mikel. All right.
Edson?
We managed to turn it around. So I guess I got to give it an 8. Overall, we wanted Ben White back in. He played. Wanted Trossard in. He played. Maybe not exactly where I thought he should or would. But he did. He started them, and he did. He made the timely substitutions. Seemed like there were maybe a couple of adjustments in there that kind of Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have much of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, like, overall, yeah, an 8. We got it done. We turned it around. This would have been disastrous. This was a must-win, and we won.
Yeah, I gave him an 8 as well, just because of what he did. He had to have said or done something at halftime because it was a totally different game, and that's coming from the manager that changes that. So maybe he challenged some of the players to be better. I'm not sure. Maybe he called out some guys. I'm not sure, but it was a different game in the second half. So I'm giving him an 8 just because he was able to influence the game by a halftime talk.
Well, one more thought there too. I mean, for as much as we like to complain sometimes about his selections, this is their third game in, like, I gotta say, it's a week, no? Like 8 days or 7 days, something like that. I mean,
yeah,
it's tough, and that's why I say, like, you've got to be better with your rotations. You've got to rest guys. You've got to take chances with some other guys. And hey, this was a tougher stretch, but I mean, it's not like it's going to get any easier. The teams ahead in the Premier League might look easy, but I mean, Europa's coming back, and I'm just curious to see how he continues to manage this team in the rotation.
Yeah, for sure. So with all the ratings that we've given, the man of the match for the Clock Enders podcast man of the match, based off the ratings for a second game running, is Jorginho, and a close second will be Saka, who was 2 points off from the ratings that we gave Jorginho. So all in all, I don't think there's anybody that can really argue with that. Great performance today. Again, a great way to start a long weekend. We have Leicester coming up next on the 25th, which is also the start date for the MLS, if you can believe it. But Leicester away is probably going to be a little bit of a tricky match as well, but hopefully the boys will be up for that. So next week, we'll be doing a preview show, maybe on Thursday, it looks like, and then we'll do a reaction show to the Leicester game and give our analysis on tactics, lineups, and of course our player ratings. So, guys, I can't wait. Beautiful. I'm gonna watch the second half of Man City. Hopefully they bungle it, and then we can have a week of the pundits telling us that Man City's bottling the league.
Chelsea is down again.
And like I said, when we were down, each time I said there's absolutely no way that we're not going to win on Tech's wedding day. So congratulations to Tech.
Yes, Tech. Congrats, bro.
If you don't know who Tech is, go back and check out the early Clock Enders. He's still one of the crew as far as I'm concerned. So congratulations, Tech.
That's what he needs to do. After the honeymoon. After the honeymoon, let him read.
Glad we could pull it out for you. This is a wonderful way to start the rest of your lives together. So
100%. And on that note, guys, we'll catch you next week for the preview show for the Leicester game. Come on, you Gunners. Let's go.